Have you ever thought of checking out the 1990s cars? We call them legendary cars because most of them and their brands remain one of the best cars in history. If you've any of these 1990s cars that we'll show in this video, you'll understand what it takes to be a legend. But before we start, please like and subscribe to this channel, and then sit back and relax. Unless you were Elvis Presley or Jack Nicholson in the making, the 70s and 80s weren't the best decades for most people when it came to luxury cars. Almost all of the designs were painfully boxy, others were ill-proportioned, and overall performance was terrible, to say the least. Nothing came fast, apart from a few notable models from Lamborghini, Ferrari, and a couple of other car companies. However, things changed drastically in the 1990s. Designers dropped the T-square and ruler and started using curves again. Soon the technology caught up with emissions requirements, allowing for incredible performance that had never been seen before. To that end, we urge you to meet the 10 best cars of the 1990s that you never know existed. Number 1. Audi A8. Audi wasn't involved in producing luxury sedans until it introduced the A8 in 1997, which came with an all-aluminum body and the revolutionary 8SF space chassis. The A8 helped Audi make its entry as a tough competitor against Mercedes-Benz and BMW. The car also contributed to Audi's drive to break the barriers of road car technology. In keeping with the company's philosophy, the A8 was designed as an all-wheel drive car when all other rivals only drove the rear wheels. Since the car came with additional mechanical parts that provided additional weight, the chassis was built from aluminum instead of the incredibly heavy rigid steel version. Unfortunately, despite the car's technological advances, the model depreciates faster due to high repair costs. For example, in 2001, the A8 sold for just $9,000. Number 2. Bentley Arnage. The Bentley Arnage was a large luxury sedan made by Bentley Motors from 1998 to 2009, featuring all new designs for the car company since 1980. The hood was pretty old school, with the same 6.75-liter V8 engine, dating back to the 1950s. The Arnage is approximately 1.9 meters wide, over 5.4 meters long, and weighs around 2.5 metric tons. For a brief period, it was the fastest and most powerful four-door sedan on the market. Sadly, the model was discontinued in 2008. Pricing when newly started is as low as $200,000. Number 3. BMW 7 Series. The 1994 to 2001 BMW 7 Series E38 will be remembered for years to come and has been immortalized in many TV shows and movies. A major car for BMW, the E38's bodywork is where things get particularly interesting. The bodywork is the star feature. BMW used production methods and techniques designed for the i8 and i3 to shave 40 kilograms off the chassis, which includes various carbon fiber parts for added strength, rigidity, and lightness. The resulting car was about 300 pounds lighter, with a base price of $62,000 to $66,000. Number 4. Cadillac Escalade. When the Cadillac Escalade was introduced, it bore a strong resemblance to the 1999 GMC Yukon Denali. However, it was redesigned in 2002 to more closely resemble the Cadillac company's signature arts and science design theme. The car also had a similar 255 horsepower 5.7-liter V8 engine, which was relatively underpowered compared to the 300 horsepower in Ford's Lincoln Navigator. The 1999 Escalade gets 15 miles per gallon highway and 11 miles per gallon city. The interior included leather seats, and the total price of the car was $60,000. Number 5. Infiniti J30. Also known as the Nissan Leopard J Ferry, the Infiniti J30 was a rear-wheel drive luxury sedan that had a remarkably small appearance. However, the car featured unique styling not seen in the crowded class of executive cars. Today, the design of the car can be compared to a four-door coupe. To establish that the Infiniti J30 was a luxury car, most of the interior was designed by Italian Poltrona Frau, who had also worked on the larger Q45. Number 6. Peugeot 405. The French car was already shaky in the late 80s, with the dense and confident Peugeot 405 succeeding the dying 505 workhorses. The dilemma is that while the 405 was a huge global success for Peugeot, sales of the sedan never really took hold in the US, despite positive reviews and the availability of the sporty Me60 model, which could reach 160 brake horsepower from its powerful 2-liter turbo engine. As a result, Peugeot exited the US market in '91 and sold a few examples as 92 models. In 1996, the company introduced the 406 sedan models to previous dealers to test the murky waters for a potential comeback, but demos failed. They were awesome. The 405 is still produced today, just not in France. Number 7. Porsche 968. Porsche was experiencing turmoil in the late 80s, and the 964 model was just a development of the 60s 911. On the other hand, the 928 simply adhered to the Lamborghini Countach philosophy of adding more panels to make it look better and car newer. The company had to get things moving quickly. This led to the introduction of the new Porsche 968. To some extent, the car was just a preview of the 944. But most people, particularly its owners, consider the Porsche 968 to be the best car Porsche has ever made. Number 8. Toyota Camry. To date, the Toyota Camry remains the best-selling car in the US market and one of the top 5 best-selling cars overall. This is simply because it is extremely reliable, with several models from the 80s and 90s still visible on the road. The Toyota Camry was first introduced to the United States in 1983, and nearly every model produced since has enough representation on the streets and highways. Number 9. 1991 Mercedes-Benz 500e. The 1991 500e was built in close association with Porsche. All 500e cars were hand-built by Porsche and shuttled back and forth between the company's plant in Germany and the Mercedes plant. It took a full 18 days to complete each model, and the cars come fully equipped with a 5-liter V8 engine, integrated cell phone, and custom-fitted CD changer. Number 10. 1990 Lexus LS 400. Most of the legendary vehicles of the 90s achieved their status because of their character, original design, and unique ideas, or simply because of the joy they brought to their owners. With the 1990 Lexus LS 400, this was not the case. When the first Lexus, known as the LS 400, was released in 1989, it wasn't the most original model in the industry. Not only did it closely resemble the Mercedes W126 S-Class, but it had a similar naming system to Mercedes. The question is it possible for a coldly efficient, pragmatic, and mostly derivative vehicle to rank in the top 10 luxury cars of the 90s? Well, to recap, the LS 400 was a product of Toyota's decision to expand its business into the upmarket. Japan and the United States had previously signed the Voluntary Restriction Agreement, which limited the total number of Japanese vehicles that could be imported into the country. As such, it was prudent to charge more for each car and make more profit. The Lexus LS 400 may have been a $35,000 loss-maker for a car that rarely made it to dealerships, but it paved the way for significantly profitable showroom companions and successors such as the RX 300 and ES 300. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit like, the subscription button, and the notification bell. To get notified when new videos are uploaded from this channel, please share your thoughts about the legendary cars. Meet the 10 best luxury cars of the 1990s you never know exist in the comment section below. Thank you.